Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tim. This is another Real Ideal Gear review, and today we're looking at the EDC35 from Nitecore. All right, this flashlight's got a lot of attention on YouTube, no doubt about it. This flashlight has a lot of great features about it, no doubt about it. We're going to go over the exterior, we're going to go over the specs on this, and I'm going to hand it off to the video that I did outdoors where it has a little bit more commentary. I don't typically do commentary when I'm outside doing the loom shots. But I did on this one because I really think highly of this flashlight. So just a little bit of background. I had 5 years as a reserve deputy, sworn reserve deputy, full arrest authority, full use of force authority, which means you go through all the training to be able to do that stuff. And the point of saying that is I carried all the gear that the regular guys carried. And so I am as concerned about where things fit on my person that are critical for executing the position or the job of a patrol deputy, in the county that I reside in. So anyway, this flashlight, I think the dimensions of this are perfect. I think, and I say perfect, it's not like 100% perfect. Like I have not seen anything better than this. I love the dimensions. I love the milling. I love the feel of this. There's all kinds of things about this, but when it comes to carrying this, I have some video here I'm gonna throw in of me putting this in and out of my vest carrier, my plate carrier, which is soft armor. So it has a little bit of pliability, a little bit of space that I can kind of wiggle something in because the ballistic vest that I'm wearing is soft body armor. So you get a little bit of give that way. But the point is that without having to put a bunch of plastic mounting crap on your chest, which I see so many guys doing today, which personally, I am not into that at all. I think that becomes more of a problem. It snags your seatbelt getting out of the car, getting down on the ground. You bend over to do stuff. You got to make sure that all that plastic stuff is holding onto its gear, like the multiple handcuffs, the mag carriers, the flashlight, the radio. All this. It seems like everybody took their stuff off their belt and put it all on their chest. And the point being is that does this work with that? Absolutely. Absolutely. I prefer putting it into pockets. I think pockets are a little bit more snug. They're slicker. I don't have, pieces of plastic jutting out. And so when I put a flashlight like this in the pocket, as you're seeing in this video, it does a good job of going in and out. Okay, obviously that's fine. But I don't have any harsh corners as a result of that either. So the flashlight itself, I think, works size-wise. There's a 21700 battery, which means it's going to last me probably the full night, no matter what I'm doing. If I manage the output of this, I think I can get a full night of patrol use out of this in case, if something seriously bad happens, you're on scene in an accident for a long time at night, you're going to be using your flashlight a lot. Not a whole lot when it comes to searching rooms, that kind of stuff. That's pretty brief stuff. And a lot of times you're using your weapon-mounted light, so you're not pulling out your flashlight for that, for good reason. But when you're doing, crash scene type stuff or searching ditches for lost people, I don't know. I've done that. We chased a guy down in a park, a campground. And this campground, when you talk about campgrounds in Montana, usually campgrounds are like next to federal land, so they can go on for miles. Anyway, so does the 21700 battery last for a long time? Yes, I think it does. I prefer a larger battery. Although this is probably as big as I'd go, I'd rather go with an 18650 and have an extra battery. But if I go 21700, I probably am not going to bring an extra battery with me. When I carried the 18650, I always carried an extra 18650 battery with me. And the flashlights I used for that were also Nitecore. I think Nitecore does a great job. They're very reliable. Not to say the other ones aren't. I just have a lot of experience with Nitecore as being my patrol flashlight. Okay. All right. So exterior, let's go through this pretty quick. You don't have to worry about any of that tungsten carbide, nipple stuff up here, whatever that's for. That people say, well, you can break windshields with that. If you're breaking a windshield with your flashlight, you got something going on. Like, and I get it. Like if you're, civilian carry, okay, so that might be. I'm talking patrol carry. Get out your expandable baton and hit the window. Like it's not that big of a deal. Smashing your flashlight up against a window, like how the impact on what's going on inside here. They talk about, what is it, a 1 meter, 2 meter drop and how they can handle that. If you're hitting a windshield or let's just say a window on a vehicle, I can guarantee you're hitting it with much more force than if you dropped it from 2 meters. Okay, let's just leave it at that. So none of that crap on there. The milling on this is excellent. Excellent. Look at, you have the horizontal milling here on the tube. I love this. And then you've got the spiral cut that goes through it that gives you some contrasting feel. Great grip. However you want to grip this. Now, the clip on here does not spin around the barrel at all. It is basically fixed. Okay, it comes to this point right here, and you cannot move it. Now, you can take it off. You'd have to almost pry it off to do that. If you don't want to have the clip on there, you can do that. All right, but I think it's a great indexing thing. So when I grab this, I'm putting this clip in my that little first space there by my knuckles on my hand. I'm putting it right in there, and I'm grabbing it this way. I have access to the tail switch, which is great. I also have access to the lock feature. And I love the fact that the lock feature kind of goes back into this part of my hand right back here. Okay, so I'm back here using this, and if I have to unlock or lock it, I'm going to spin it out a little bit and go like this. All right, I love that. It kind of buries the switch into my hand. All right, now is it possible that I could move that switch with the skin of my hand? Maybe. I just have never done it, and I've been using this quite a bit. So I've never done that. So I love the switch location on here. You also have your charging port right here. You just rotate on the tail switch or the cap, whatever you want to call it. You rotate that, it exposes your Type-C charging port. Now this is a integrated battery, so you cannot remove the battery. You have to charge through the charging port. That's a downside to this flashlight. I do not like that. I would rather, on patrol, unscrew it, take it out, put a new battery in, put it back together. No charging cords. The only way that this thing is going to be recharged on duty is with a charging cord and some other source, probably a patrol vehicle. Okay, so I'm not a fan of that. All right, just think of that when it comes down to the quick recharge, quote unquote recharge of the flashlight. You're limited because you have to use a cord, and it's going to take as much time as that charging system is going to take through a cord. Okay. Now also you have the battery level indicator lights over here, which I think is very helpful. It gives you at least a rough idea of where you're at, which is super important, because if you're burning through the battery, hey, tone it down. Get down into medium, get down into low if you can. Okay. So those are kind of the outset here. You have, got the tail cap switch, which is a great rubberized textured tail cap switch. You also have kind of a tripod here for tail standing. I don't think it's quite as stable as it should be. I think that button sticks out just a little bit, and you get a little bit of wobble on it. Okay, so I think they could have extended those just a little bit further. I think that would have been a better solution. All right, what else? Oh, proximity sensor. Almost forgot. Inside here, on the orange peel reflector, you have a proximity sensor. So if you have the flashlight on a very bright setting and you get closer to an object, that reflected light or energy is going to come back in. The sensor is going to sense it, and it's going to throttle down the light output so that you don't start something to fire, you don't burn your leg, whatever. Okay, so that's great. Orange peel reflector. Oh, on the inside, you have the main LED. This is important because later on in the video, I'm going to be outside commenting on this. You have the main LED, and you have 8 smaller ones on the outside. The main one in the center is your hotspot, and the 8 smaller ones on the outside, that's your spill. Okay, and you'll see that when you turn this on. All right, and let's see where I'm at here. Okay, so here's ultra low. This is 5 lumens. All right, now this is just the center LED. And you'll see what happens when the other 8 kick in. So there's ultra low, low, medium. Now watch the spill transition between medium and high. Notice how the spill, the hot spot starts to disappear because you have the other LEDs, 8 LEDs turning on as a result of that. Now this is the same configuration as LuminShield, which is depressing the switch and holding it all the way down, which is this. Okay, the hotspot just almost disappears. You have spill everywhere, 5,000 lumens. It's incredible. Now, if you go half press, you're going to get the hotspot to be even brighter, and the spill, going from high, that's going to disappear. So if I go half, you can see the difference between that. Okay, so there's kind of the tutorial on this. Fantastic. Now, when you're running it on high, and it's been on high now for a little bit, this actually is getting pretty warm. So there's going to be some throttling down over time, even from high. So medium, in my estimation, is the one that you can run without much interference as far as the diminished light output. So what are the lumens on this? 5,000 LuminShield. That's your 5. That's your max. That's depressing this all the way down. You're going to get that for seconds. You're not going to get that for minutes. It'll say, you know, people will talk about minutes or hour, whatever. But that's after you turn it off and on, off and on. You're going back and forth to LuminShield before you burn out all the energy in the battery. LuminShield's 5,000. High is going to be 1,300. And that is going to run you, let's see, what's the time on that one? 1,300, 4 hours and 45 minutes. But I think that throttles down. I haven't measured it yet, but I believe everything I've seen so far, I think that throttles down from 1,300 down to something less. But if you want a constant state of energy output or lumen output, you're going to be using medium, which is 300 lumens. And that one runs 9 hours and 15 minutes. Then you have low, which is 70 lumens for 40 hours, and ultra low or moonlight, which is 5 lumens for 90 hours. Fantastic times, great choices. The 300 lumens, this is one, there's two things I'm not a fan of when it comes to this flashlight. Number one is the charging port. I think that's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Okay, now that's probably how they got the 5,000 lumens. That's the talk on the street, is an integrated battery allows them to get that high output. So, okay, that's fine if you want to concede that. But when it comes down to medium and you only get 300 lumens, this should be at least at 350, maybe 400. 21700 battery, hefty design. This is not a lightweight design. This is not a minimalist design at all. It should be at 350 lumens minimum at medium. Now, the reason I harp on that is because that's the one that you can use that doesn't diminish its output over an extended period of time. High, LuminShield, half pressing, which is that spot thing, like those are all going to diminish over time because it generates so much heat. So those are the two depressing things that I have, or two things I'm not thrilled with at all about this flashlight. But overall, I love this flashlight. Great tactical flashlight. It's a little bit on the big side, maybe. Pocket carry, doubtful. Although I think you can definitely do it. I'm not saying you can't. For me, I think it's just too big in diameter. I would probably jacket pocket carry this, day pack, whatever. Maybe pocket carry if I didn't have anything else in that pocket. But that's a lot of diameter in a pocket carry, I think. So let's take a look at the video, the lume output on the video we got here. Now we have the Nitecore EDC35. And this is at its lowest level, which I think is 5 lumens, if I remember correctly. And barely make this one out. 5 lumens. Yeah, that's all right. All right, there is low. Much better. There's the second sign. That's 21 feet. That's 10 feet. I'm sorry, 10 yards and 21 yards, not 10 feet. That is 10 yards and 21 yards. And then we have medium. And then we have high. This is 1,300 lumens. And then, of course, we have the spot. All right. There we go. Much better. And then here's LuminShield, 5,000 lumens. When you go to LuminShield, it's a totally different ball game. It just goes side to side, spot down the middle, 75,000 candela. Yeah, this is where it's at. And this is why it makes such a good EDC pocket carry. Maybe they're throttled down. Pocket carry, maybe for sure. Belt, pack, shirt pocket, maybe jacket pocket, that kind of thing. One of the things I like about this, though, is you do have, this is one of the few flashlights where I really think the hotspot isn't differentiated that much from the spill around it. The camera accentuates it a little bit more than what I can see here with just my eyesight. Plays with it a little bit, the exposure. And then when you go to the half press, which is really a focused beam in the center, you can see how it just kind of focuses to the center, right? The spill just that's not quite as much. And then you go to LuminShield and everything lights up. It's just a fantastic set of options. And I love the buttons, the modes, I should say, are perfect. This is the way it should be, okay? And so now I'm going to go low, medium. I'm going to go high. Actually, I think that's medium. This is high. We'll go back to medium right there. That is plenty. That's 300 lumens right there. 300 lumens, and I'm reaching 50 yards back. Very good. I like this a lot.